In this lesson, we'll UV map the propeller. Now, normally when I'm doing UV mapping, I usually like to work on one side, and then I can mirror the map a little bit easier if it's completed on one side. In this case, however, I want to do the entire piece of geometry. So I'm going to grab my propeller, and this should already be aligned, but if it's not, go ahead and press D and V and snap the pivot point to anywhere on this center line here. And let's go to mesh. I'm going to drop down to mirror geometry, and we're going to mirror in positive X because we've got X pointing this way, and click apply. Now you may ask, why are we doing this? Well, we're going to do it because I'm going to planar map this object, and I'm going to zero it out like so, and then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and that means that it should, I don't know where it's gone, but okay. Bring up, that's what it looks like. Okay, yeah, it looks looking pretty good. That's actually a good portion of our of the map here, except for one problem, and that is that, of course, the propeller's twist. So I'm going to go to edge, and I'm going to double click on this edge here, and then I'm going to double click on this edge here, and I'm going to go try to line up the back of this. Yeah, okay, so that's good. So that's going all the way around. I'm going to cut it. Okay, and I'm going to grab my UVs. That's going to give me the top, just the top, and I'll move this out of the way. So I'll move this down. I'll do the same thing for the bottom, and I'll flip this vertically. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I just want F. I just want to go. So I go to edge, I'm going to go to there, and I'm going to go to the other side, double click. And that will give me one all the way around. I want the other way. Perfect. Just perfect. See, I can click on this. I don't want, it should be easier just to do that and go all the way around, and then go in and deselect all of the edges I don't want. Sometimes that's easier than trying to go in and select just the edges I do want. Okay, so that gives me an edge. I think I'm going to not do that one. Yeah, that's good. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do that. That is that sews these together. Sews these UVs together. I'm going to select all of these like so. Now remember, we're going to have a wood grain texture on this. We're making this out of wood. So what direction is the wood grain going to go? Well, I'm going to have the wood grain going this way across. Okay, and I could, and I may yet, cut out this part, the pin part of the propeller, just make it almost look like a separate object. But for right now, I'm going to leave it as part of it, and then I'm going to go and bring up the unfold options, and let me pin the UV border and click apply. I'm not getting much there. Undo that. What happens? It expands. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. That actually looks about right. Sometimes you just have to click and try and pray, and hopefully it works. I know that sounds very strange, but that's, for some of these commands, that's kind of the way you want it. That actually works out pretty well. I'm going to rotate this to 90 degrees because I'm going to want the wood grain traveling vertically or traveling horizontally across the propeller, not going across this way, because that would actually weaken it if it were actually made out of wood. All right, so basically clicking, sewing, and then unfolding our UVs work pretty well. The other thing we can try is the optimize command. See if that does anything. It doesn't really. Try uniform. Now, uniform you do have to be careful about, because if you don't, what you don't want, again, remember always in UV mapping, it's not that everything is perfectly the same size, because in your object, everything is not perfectly the same size. In fact, they're very different. And so what you're looking to do is you're looking to try and create a map where the polygons are the same shape as they are and the same size in relation to one another as they are in the viewport. And if you remember that and keep that always in the back of your mind, then you should be in pretty good shape. Now, if I wanted to take this pin here and separate it, I could do that by cutting and basically remapping it so that it's kind of cylindrical. But I don't want that. I'm going to leave things as they are, and that should do it. So in this lesson, we basically, and it's sort of counterintuitively, if you will, mirrored our geometry to make the actual UV mapping easier on us when we created the final propeller. And it looks odd on the map, but it should map pretty well. Again, that's something we can also change when the time comes. So in the next lesson, we will UV map, I think we'll UV map the wheel, the landing gear and the struts, and maybe the rudder as well. And then we'll tackle the tougher fuselage in a later lesson.